drasha or then some reminiscing stories. Unfortunately, I've only been married to Chana for 2.5 years, or just over 2 years, and I haven't had the privilege as her older siblings and the older sons-in-law have had to spend more time with Zayda. But I asked Chana to be able to put something together, and I added my 2 cents, and well, this is it. There are no words to describe Zayda. All a person needed to do was to look into his eyes and would see straight away the love and care for each individual. The smile on his face was the most amazing smile I've ever seen. He just said it all. Chal and I had the privilege to have Zayda at our home, and in fact we try to make it about once a week. We tried, where he would come for dinner and then we would learn afterwards. And this was something that he enjoyed. And he was always full of compliments of Chana's culinary skills. Zayda cared for each individual and always wanted to know what they were learning and if they were learning. And this was really the most important thing for him. The first time Zayda came to our home was just after we got married. And he looked around and he said, "Where's all the Sfarim? What's going on over here?" And he said, "Look, go buy Sfarim and I'll pay for it. And this will be your wedding present." And sure enough, that night we sat down, went online and made an order, bought us Sfarim, and in fact, as soon as they arrived, we invited him over again, and he looked around and he said, this is what a Jewish home should look like. Now we can learn properly. And my wife Chana is actually named after Zayda's mother. And Zayda would always say that she reminded him of his mother in the way that his mother was very particular and very she was a real balabasta. She always made sure that the home was ready and was always happy to have guests and to always ready for people to come over. And he was very he enjoyed this very much. He also had a very close connection with our daughter, with Chaya. And in fact, every time we would come here, come to this house, and Chaya, we would walk in the door and Chaya would see him. She would run up to him straight away, and she would just hug him. In fact, she would just stay with him. Sometimes she would sit in his lap for 20 minutes or so straight. And when it comes to us, she comes to us for maybe a minute maximum before she runs off to play. And this was something that Zayda had with everybody. He had a special time. He was able to give people time of the day and focus. People needed to talk to him. People needed guidance. And it really wasn't a matter of whether we were family or whether it was the time of day or night. It didn't make a difference. It was just a matter of Zayda had time for everybody. And every individual was very special to him. Chana told me once that when she was younger, she always thought that Zayda was one of the Lamed Aleph, one of the 30 hidden Tzaddikim. And when Baba and Zayda would come for Pesach, she would be on her best behavior. And when she was in the same room as Zayda, she would be very careful what she thought, because she was always scared that he could read her mind. And she asked him why he never went to sleep. And Zayda said to her, "Neshama never goes to sleep." He said, "Why waste time sleeping in this world? When the body passes on, the body has time to rest, but the Neshama is always awake. Every spare moment, he was with Sefer in hand, and he wouldn't waste a minute." Recently, Chana asked him, in a joking way, but she asked him, "Zayda, why don't you go golfing? Why don't you go have some fun?" And Zayda looked at her with a funny look, and he picked up his head, and he's like, "What? Are you mad?" And he said any time Zayda would have, that he could possibly do anything like golfing or anything like that, he was very dedicated to learning, and he felt that there was an infinite amount of learning in this world. We really miss Zayda, and we hold him very dear in our hearts. I feel honored to have had the privilege to be with Zayda as he passed on into the next world, the world of truth, which he had waited for in his life. I will treasure these moments that I have spent with him. I will tell them to our children. And Zayda was really a real Zayda, as we know from the song. Who will be the Zayda of our children, if not we? And we can only hope and pray that we will follow in his footsteps, and we will be able to be an example to our children and our grandchildren as Zayda was to us. And although Zayda is not with us physically anymore, he is always with us in our hearts, and we will always live with his directives and with the lessons that he has set for us. May his neshama have an aliyah, and may his soul rest in peace until Mashiach comes. May the keeps around the Shosh Neyofa will be able to see him face to face again. Zayda, we love you. Thank you.